Well folks, today's original creation is Chilli Puds, and as you can see I'm starting off with a pan full of minced beef. So I've just taken a block of minced beef, shoved it in the pan, and I'm just going to cook this through gently first of all to break it up. Right, so we just warm this through. Just begin to sizzle through now a little bit. What I want to do is just brown this off nicely before I add any more ingredients to it, because I'm one of those people that likes his minced beef to be cooked properly. I hate the feeling that it might not be cooked right and it's still in a lump somewhere. So while that's cooking, we'll just have a look over here. So what you can see I've got in here is a jug of dried mixed beans which have been soaking overnight. Now I know in chilies we usually put kidney beans, but I'm not a traditionalist and I like to experiment, so I'm using a packet of mixed beans. So the mince is browning nicely. That's all looking good to me, and not a lot of fat has come out of that really. There's a little bit of liquid there, but that's water as much as anything. Okay, so next up it's onion time. Just get that knife sharpened nicely. Rinse off any metal residue. Okay, so I've got two onions. I've got one nice big one and a smaller one. I'm quite an onion fan, so I don't mind if there's a lot of onion in it. And if you're not an onion fan, then there's something wrong with you, in my opinion. Right. Okay. In the middle, and then down, and then turn it around, and again, and again, and again, and again, and another. God, it's a strong one, my eyes are watering. Nice big chunky pieces of onion. I don't want that to disappear. I want to enjoy the texture of that as well as the flavour. And that then goes into the pan. And I'll grab my utensils to mix it in with the beef. Fire it up a little bit. And we'll listen to that sizzle while I chop the other one. Oh! Here we go. Right. Okay, so while my eyes are streaming, I'm just going to stir all this up. Oh, dear Lord. Okay, next on my list of ingredients is this chap here. A bulb of garlic, a whole entire bulb. Let's face it, if you're going to eat garlic, you want to taste garlic. As Del Boy and the SAS say, he who dares wins. So, there we go, break all that apart. Now we don't need to be a wuss and take off all the red skin from the garlic bulb, because once it's cooked you'll never even know it was there anyway, but we'll take off the nasty white stuff. We won't worry about top and tail in the bottoms of it. You see that's a little bit rough on the bottom. Doesn't look so nice, but honestly when it's cooked you won't know. And you won't know especially anyway, because I'm going to pulp it. This is some kind of choppy thing. Makes a good noise as well. And here are the garlic segments all going in here. There you go, you can see that. Lots of garlic. All you do is you put the top on and get ready for a bit of noise. So all this meanwhile the onions and the meat have been cooking. If I had a head camera we'd get a different angle on this, but I'm now just going to empty the garlic in with that lot. So we've got a nice combination of chopped garlic, coarsely chopped onion, and the mince, which is largely cooked. And I'm just going to mix all that in together. And as you can see, that's cooking nicely. So I'm just going to leave that to simmer and sweat for a little bit. And we'll let it sweat with the use of a nice large lid. And we'll build up some steam and pressure inside there to sweat that onion down. Right, well, all that's going on, we're now going to make a bit of tomato sauce or some nice puree. So I'll start off with one of these things. I'm going to add to it a little bit of water. Not much, just a little bit in the bottom to start proceedings. I'm going to add to that 1, 2, 3 of sugar. Yes, the secret ingredient to cooking is sugar. You won't believe how much difference it makes at bringing out flavour, particularly with tomato. Right, a little bit of salt, but we don't overdo it. There you go, just a little bit. I'm not a massive salt fan, but I always do a little bit in just to acknowledge the greats who've come before me. So, a few dried mixed herbs. That'll do. Pepper. Don't be scared of pepper. It's good stuff. We're making a chilli anyway. It's good for your heart as well. And it's a stimulant. When you get to my age, you need that. So what's missing? We're making some nice tomato puree. Tomatoes. Let's go and get some. Tomatoes, courtesy of the garden. As you can see, I've got a few tomato plants down there, with some sprouts as well. It's a bit wet and I don't really want to go outside, so in the tradition of television, here's some we prepared earlier. So here's some we've had on the side drying off and ripening. So we'll use the ones which are red or almost red, and I've also got some in the fridge which are also ripe. So we'll put those into the blender. Right, here we go, in my t-shirt. So now we've got a nice selection of tomatoes to go into the blender. Okay, that's looking a bit healthier, so now I'm going to pulp that and make some nice sauce. Before I make the sauce, I'm actually going to drain these beans off. Just pour them through the colander. Get them all out. Waste not, want not, lad. That's it. Lovely. And I'm going to mix the beans now around with the rest of the mixture. Lovely. Ready to rumble? Come on, you bugger. Here we go. Look at that go. By blending it, it's made it into a bit of a frothy mixture, a bit like some kind of thick shake. It gives it actually quite a nice fluffy texture. But look at the colour. That was all tomatoes virtually in there. Is that red? No. Now that's partially because it's been blended, but when you're buying tomato products from the shop, their redness is largely not natural, and that is. it straight away because I want those beans to cook for a bit, so I'm going to probably give it 10-15 minutes before I come back to it. So I'll see you in 10 or 15 minutes. Right, let's see how it looks now. Ooh, steamy. Right, we give that a stir. Yeah, that's all lovely and loose. That's good. Happy with that. So what I'm going to do now is add the pureed tomatoes. There they are from above, and they smell gorgeous actually. It just smells like I've washed my face in tomatoes. Or fell face first into a field of them. In it goes. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. We'll see how it pans out. Pans out! Did you get it? Bloody hell, I should be on stage. Right. So, I did say at the beginning that this would be chilli puds, and this is the chilli to go inside the puds. Where are the chillies? Well, I haven't got any chillies, and instead I'm using something else. I'm cheating. I'm using hot chilli powder. Ooh. Okay. This is cracking stuff. It's awesome. I'll give them a plug. It's even Asdra chilli powder. And I'm basically quite generous with it, because as far as I'm concerned, hot is good. Right, I've emptied the rest of what was in there. There was probably about 1/5 of a tub in there, or maybe 1/6. It will immediately darken the mixture, which is good. And that's what we wanted to achieve. And it's what will give it the distinctive chilli flavour. Oh, slopped it all over myself. That's not looking too bad at all actually. So it's on a very, very low light. And all I'm going to do now is put the lid on. And I'm going to leave it to simmer away and steep for half an hour. Well, as you can see, the colour's gone nice and dark. It's thickened up nicely. It's been bubbling away for well over half an hour actually, probably nearer 40 minutes. I'm going to turn it off now, and I'm going to leave it turned off for 2 hours, and I'm just going to let it steep so all those juices and flavours flow into each other. And then I'm going to start the puds, and then we'll warm this up and stick it in the puds, and hey presto, chilli puds. I'm going to get up to the shop and get some eggs for Yorkshires. As you can see, it's raining. It's that right fine stuff that's really wetting. Oh, I hate that. Right, a couple of hours has passed and you're going to have to take my word on that. But in the meantime, I've showered and changed. Please observe a fresh t-shirt. And I've just been up to the shop. I've got myself eggs. I've got myself plain flour. No fresh chilies, unfortunately. So I've gone for the next best thing, which is these things. So dried chili flakes. So first off is eggs. I'm doing 2 big puds, so that needs 1 nice large egg. That's a beauty actually, free range. I've got to say actually these are cracking. Tesco's. Cracking! Another joke! Bloody hell! Oh my god. Right. Next thing we need is a bit of flour. So, there's no exact science to this. I'm not one of those people that's pedantic and weighs and measures and all that rubbish. We do it how it looks. And at the minute, that looks alright to me. Now I need a bit of milk, bear with me. Now not everybody puts milk in their Yorkshires, but I find it helps. Just a splish. A splish splash. Bit of salt. Bit of salt. There we go. Something that you may or may never have seen before. Spoonful of sugar to help the medicine go down. And I've put that in on purpose because I'm adding the chilli flakes and it'll just help to take the sting off them if they are a bit zingy. And I'm going to add the chilli flakes in on top. Nice amount. Let's have a look. So it's lid on the blender, and we'll begin. Now I can see immediately that that mixture's a bit stiff. So I'm going to add to it a little bit more milk. And we'll start again. Now this is a nice mixture, I can see it's a nice mix. We've got a decent consistency in there. This is how it currently looks. Now, what happens next? This is the key thing. I'm going to put it in the fridge and I'm going to keep it in the fridge for an hour to chill the mixture down. Now you may wonder why I'm putting it in the fridge, but I'm doing it for a reason. And that reason is that I always find the best results when my Yorkshires are when there's a high temperature difference between the hot fat and the mixture that I'm pouring in. So if this is cold and that's extremely hot, voila, stand a better chance of success. Do they say voila in Yorkshire? No, Ecky thumb, best chance of success. Right, so we'll leave that in there now for, let's say we'll leave that in there for an hour. See you later. So I've whacked oven on at 220. We're going to let that get right up to heat. You know the clock. I never did learn how to set it. I've just greased my pans up. Yes, you can see I'm using two different tins. I've got a deep cake tin here and I've got a shallow one here. I'm not fussy about what I use, but I like it to be as non-stick as possible. And as long as it gets hot, it works. I've used a mixture of sunflower oil and olive oil, again going against the grain for the lard Puritans. I'm not as keen on lard flavour wise. We'll see how this works out. Right, it's time to get these babies in and get that oil smoking. So we're up to speed with the temperature. 1, 2. Right, so I've just got them out and they're absolutely red hot. So we'll add the fat. And you can hear that sizzle. And you can feel the pan buckle as well. There's one. And the other. That's a good sign. See, that one's already begun to turn at the end. Right. So these now need to go back in the oven. Easier said than done when you're holding a camcorder in one hand. One at the top. I'm underneath it. And we'll come back in 20 minutes. Just while they're cooking, it's the opportunity to get the ring back on. Just get that warming on a very low light. And then everything should be ready together. Timing is important. Let's just have a peek. Oh, it's rising nicely. Lovely jubbly. So here we have it, the final creation. We've got the chilli, we've got Daddy Pud, and we've got Mummy Pud. So the puds are on the plates. They haven't risen massively, but they're not too bad. And let's ladle some delicious chilli onto our delicious puds. So much more interesting than rice. Yorkshire meets Mexico. Hey up, hombre. Arriba, arriba! Get in there, mucker! Who's in the pudding? So what's it like?
It's gorgeous.
Hey! Oh, the empty plate says it all. Well, another successful dinner over and done with, and just enough chilli left there for when we get back from the pub tonight. Imaginative when you're cooking. Don't do things a certain way because people have always done it that way. Keep cooking alive. Oh, yes.